Welcome. This is the Late Late Show with BT, where views with security and the law are being provided to the public. This, of course, is our BT Oversight April edition, April 2015 it is. So this is where we use the last day of the month, or the last show day of the month, to compile all of the shows of the month and address what was not addressed, or what was not necessarily looked over, but what was an oversight for that particular month. So that's the addition that we have. We are still using the B, and that's all of the B stations throughout the show. So it's going to be, going through all of the shows, and we're also going to do our BT word times. Since we started that this month, we're going to close it in the month as well. So we'll restart it and include that in the oversight edition. We also have an interest in releasing this particular responsibility, like we released the idea of the weekend shows to different contributors. It's of who we are to do the same with the BT Oversight Edition. And to whom? Well, we think since Oprah has had experience with Harpo with regards to our network and our structure, that Oprah and OWN would be well suited for it. Of course, that would be after releasing ownership of Harpo Productions with regards to OWN. So I mean that OWN would have to not be under or a subsidiary of Harpo Productions. So that's what we are considering, or that's the idea, to just have Oprah do the oversight edition. And so in addition to the experience gained, with Harpo and what that means with regards to relationships, the next thing would be how that relates to politics and structure with regards to United States, city, and local. So that would be kind of the basis for the oversight edition, because it makes up everything that we are kind of that we are. So those are some of the qualifications of the experience with regards to the oversight edition. And it's a commitment of 1 day a month, the last show day of the month. And the purpose would be to, build the show regarding what was oversight. It'll still be within the focus of live broadcast. So I guess that would be your challenge, receiving it, within that 24-hour time frame and presenting it and delivering it, associated with our Late Late Show with BT. Security. And so regarding Harpo, so of course our is for Harpo choosing Stedman. So the truth regarding Oprah being gay and Stedman being gay, that may be accurate, but that would mean that Oprah is gay with Stedman Graham. Oprah is Stedman Graham kind of gay. And yes, Stedman Graham may be gay, but he's Oprah G. Winfrey kind of gay. So I guess sometimes it's like, if someone identifies you, or, there's this similarity that they may have, or they identify themselves as gay, or you're gay and I'm gay, well, then I guess I'm with this one and you're with that one. But what if you could simply be gay together and identify yourselves as a gay couple? So I guess that's part of it too with regards to the couple. Because I think gay came up, and so specifically with yours, yes, that's part of who you are. You know, just you know, in yours, you're gay. You as a gay couple looks like you, you know, as opposed to what you may have previously perceived as being gay. So with all that being said, we're gonna get right into our oversight edition, our BT oversight edition. But we're gonna start with the beats. 106.5. Where else? Virginia. So yeah, so that was Beyonce, right? So we were in the midst of our LGBT addressing that. So of course we're going to address that our next show, and possibly bring that to a close with the additional selections and the videos, going through those videos and addressing, that attachment to like when it doesn't have that worthiness or doesn't have that accuracy. Um, you know, um, securing ourselves within that type of vulnerability. Um, so that's going to be our next show. So we're not going to do our LGBT. We're not going to address that today, and we're not going to do our LL Cool J I Still the Beast to Baby song. Right? And we're not going to do the after show BT Raw either. So of course, with the oversight edition, it's just an oversight edition. That's it. So let's begin. See what we have here. David Yurman Ring. Jonathan Anderson. Beauty. Fitness beauty editors fave finds this month. Tata Hopper, volumizing lip and cheek tint and very charming. And that goes for about $35 at TataHopperSkincare.com. From the Book of Love, Improvisations on a Crazy Little Thing. I bring you greetings from the long ago and our first snow together. Our eyes watered and our lips turned blue, but you refused to go inside. And here's also an illustration by Andrea Ventura. Our eyes watered and our lips turned blue, but you refused to go inside. Optic white, Colgate. Photography, David Lewis Taylor. I mentioned before that I kind of like knits. And this is the photography of all different things, different ways to use that particular skill. Plants, headphones, candle holders. Achievement in sports can sometimes be a relationship deterrent, but consider the benefit: stamina. Last February, the bluff, barrel-chested polar explorer completed the 1,795-mile route through Antarctica that killed Captain Scott and his team in 1912. You could hardly imagine a more thoroughly British figure. It's not just the red beard and blue eyes and crisp Sandhurst accent. The Royal Military Academy also trained Princes William and Harry. There's the throwback job title, Polar Explorer, and the self-deprecating humor. Before his trek to the South Pole, which he undertook with ultra-marathoner, he soloed the North Pole at the age of 26 and took several stabs at beating the polar speed record without sled dogs and entirely alone. Although he maintains a certain lifestyle while on treks, during his North Pole expedition, he admitted that it was possible to change his underwear only once a month. He cleans up nicely and seems to be adjusting well to continents with permanent populations greater than 0. Kevin Conley. Michelle Humphreys. Back home in Stafford, Virginia, she joined the Fairfax County Police Department in 1994 and saw firsthand the link between homelessness, poverty, and crime. And the group's main office is an angel tree decorated with tags bearing the names and wish lists of children in local foster homes and detention centers. Her husband, Kevin, loads trucks with food and other items while sister-in-law pitches in with the Bread of Life program, delivering freshly baked goods to families in need. To learn more or make a donation, you can visit armsoutstretchedministry.com. This photograph is by Cameron Davidson, and it's Michelle Humphreys. Nicole Cross. She was a Jewish refugee from Germany. via a transit camp in Zabasin on the border of Poland, where she and her parents had been sent by the SS in October 1938 when she was 21. My grandmother would strap the case to the back of her bicycle and go from house to house, usually in her neighborhood at the edge of Stamford Hill, where in 1949 you could still look into bombed out homes and see the wallpaper and the exposed center staircases. I was going bust, Nicole Cross. So we have an illustration, Brownberg design. Regarding Dawn of the Planet of the Apes, one great scene in Dawn of the Planet of the Apes, a battle between Caesar and Koba, combined existing motion cap effects with a stunt element straight from Titanic. A visual effects supervisor with Weta Digital, who worked on both films, explained, when the Titanic was sinking, people fell and bounced off of things. That was done largely by using motion capture as a reference and adding digital framing on top. We got to do tons of stunt work on the motion picture stage where we flip guys around and throw them off heights and bounce them off poles and things. That was regarding Dawn of the Planet of the Apes. Brandy McMillan. Put a handful of pennies inside an empty water bottle, and when your dog starts barking, shake the bottle and say, quiet. If you're teaching a specific command like sit, repeat it at least 20 times each session. And those are just little secrets from the hottest animal trainer, Brandon McMillan. Beauty essentials. The Paris-based duo's touring schedule can be punishing, but their beauty routine is full of French luxuries. Look like twins? Because they are. And that is it. You know, so ideally, our oversight edition shouldn't be that long. Ideally. But sometimes it has been much longer. So we're going to go to the beat, 106.5.
My hands talking to me, they won't die when sunny is sunny. Let me be the one to do the unheavy shit. My hands don't like to be unemployed, they like the wood. I've been told my hands a little man as they like the blood. God knows with mistakes that he put on his blood. My hands craving your free body is I want to thank you and your body for helping me write this buzz. My hands will never leave your body, baby. Do me a favor, look on the dress and grab the table oil. It got to be the one to do my hands on my I just wanna
So that's Plies. I'm coming from 106.5 The Beat, which brings me to our BT views. So we closed out our BT views with which reviewing T2 Terminator 2 Judgment Day. Um, so unfortunately, it didn't broadcast on Bambuser as we would have liked, but it is available on YouTube, and that is the final viewing of Terminator 2 T2. So we're going to go into our BT Word Times, The Apartment by Benjamin Percy. And this is an Esquire fiction. If you're wondering which Esquire, it's January, February 2015 Esquire. And it's The Apartment. The apartment does not belong to Nora, but she sleeps there and bathes there and eats there. So the 3-bedroom, 2,000 square foot penthouse with cork floors and sharp edge furniture and a stainless steel kitchen and floor to ceiling windows might as well be hers. There is a fridge for wine she pretends to enjoy, a baby grand piano she cannot play. She used to work in a department store running credit cards, folding designer jeans into squares. One day in the dressing room, she found a purse, a camel-colored Hermes. She did not hesitate, not for a second, before throwing a pile of discarded clothes on top of it and hurrying away. She didn't feel bad when the woman, 50-something with a cloud of perfume following her around and a collarbone so sharp her body appeared hung on a hanger, came back asking if she had seen it. Nora wasn't a criminal. She simply collected what others did not need. She tossed away the credit cards, but tried on the lipstick and blew her nose with the tissues and gripped the ring of the key so tightly they bit blood from her palm. She waited until the skies grayed and the air had ice in it because people like this always went away for the winter, to their second lives. She entered the building's foyer while pretending to talk on the phone. The doorman only smiled and said, "How are you doing today, ma'am?" And she said, "Oh, fine," before stepping to the elevator. She keyed her way into the apartment. It smelled faintly of lemons and leather. Up here, she was far away from the sounds of the city, but she could hear the distant wail of a siren. With the windows surrounding her, she couldn't help but feel observed. At a Chinese restaurant she liked to go to, there was a saltwater tank full of bright banded and feather-finned fish, one side facing the lobby, the other side the dining room. No matter which way the fish turned, someone was watching, pointing, smiling. When she stood by the window, she thought of all the eyes that might find her. Hundreds of eyes, thousands of eyes, all of them wondering who she was and how did she ever get so lucky to live in a place like this. She didn't plan on spending the night, but then the sun sank and the snow swirled and the wind hummed against the windows, and she decided one night, that's all. What's the harm? And now one night has become 1 week. The department store has called her cell 3 times, but she erases the voicemails without listening to them. It feels like they're for someone else. Nora orders movies on demand, gets takeout delivered, opens and closes drawers, spends a lot of time studying a framed photo of the woman with her husband. She stands in such a way that her face is transposed upon the others. The walls are busy with art. She is not fond of the splattered and smeared canvases. They're too messy for her. But there is a print in the bathroom she likes. A Degas reproduction, ballerinas stretching before a performance surrounded by mirrors. Weeks pass, then a month. She sleeps in the king-size bed. She eats all the food in the fridge and freezer and cupboards. She wears the woman's clothes. She is especially fond of a white silk robe that makes her feel like the opposite of a shadow. She brings a man home from a bar one night, just long enough for him to walk through the apartment and say, "Wow, you've got some life." Then when he tries to kiss her, she slaps him and tells him to leave and loves how he listens even as he begs to stay. Her mother liked to tell a story about Nora. When she was a girl, someone asked what she wanted to be when she grew up, and Nora said, "A mannequin." Her mother laughed and excused her and said she must have the wrong word. But Nora was insistent. No, a mannequin. A mannequin is what she meant. They always look so perfect. And people who were otherwise in a hurry would pause to study them, imagining their bodies in their place. And a part of her still feels that way. How people see you defines you. Your outside determining your inside. The only true value is the perception of others. If they cherish you, covet you, then you earn the right to feel the same. Then, late one night, the couple comes home. Nora hears the key scraping the lock and springs from where she lies. She barely has time to tidy the sheets before crawling beneath the bed. An hour later, after they putter about and unzip their luggage and clean up in the bathroom, they fall into bed, sighing their exhaustion. Nora waits for their breathing to deepen and find a regular sawing rhythm. Then she slides from her hiding place. The shades are drawn, but the glow of the city soaks through and makes the air an underwater blue. She knows she should run, but she cannot stand to leave. Not yet. The king-size mattress gives her plenty of room to slip between the sleeping figures. She tries to match her breathing with theirs. And when the husband rolls over and throws an arm around her and says, in a voice thick with sleep, "Love you," she runs her fingers through his hair and says, "You make me feel special." And that was The Apartment by Benjamin Percy, an Esquire fiction. So we're going to go back to the beat, still 106.5.
The beat, Richmond's #1. Y'all know what it is. Number one for hip hop and R&B.
So that's our BT Oversight edition. It went through all of the shows, addressed that, mentioned Harpo and OWN and Oprah and who we are with regards to that equation. So that's that. The LGBT situation, we'll continue that the next show, which is going to be May 4th. If you have the opportunity to visit the Doswell, Virginia area, feel free to join at King's Dominion on Saturdays. And we updated our Facebook page with what Saturdays we are going to be available and what Saturdays we are not going to be available there. It has been interesting, going there and experiencing it. What else do we have upcoming? We have our Africa conference coming up, which is another reason why we're not going to be available during the weekend. So that's going to be in New York. Then we have so that's in May. So I guess we'll keep you updated about that. It's always good to just, it's weird because when I was here, I didn't really become a contributor to it until I moved to New York, and then I started like becoming involved in it. It's very entertaining. It's always different experiencing something as opposed to being in it. And even though I still like being involved in it, in the dancing, in the whole the whole situation where there's the culture and the this and that from Africa and the performance of it. I've enjoyed taking the role of the spectator, of the viewer as well. Um, and it gives you that continuous experience as opposed to you just being a part of it's live. You don't get that. You have to watch it on tape if it's videotape, but if not, being a part of it, you don't really get that. So that's the only thing. I guess my only thing with that is being a part. Like, I'm definitely open to being a part of being active in it again, but just like a situation that is diverse. Because the one that I was in, we all look like this, and like you look, it's like, oh, we all look like this, and our hair, probably is like very few, maybe one or two, where the hair doesn't, isn't like this or similar. Why is that? But anyway, I don't know if that was a reason why I kind of strayed away from it, but definitely interested in something that's actually more of who we are with regards to it, especially when you try to do something like Africa. You don't want to exclude exclude a community. And then in July, we have our fitness conference, which we just recently became involved with too, in California. Yeah, in Hollywood. So Hollywood, here we come. That's gonna be interesting. So I think that's it. Those two things that we have coming up. I guess as we get closer, we'll inform you about that. I haven't been, I guess, very publicly marketing or ever, with regards to the African conference, just because it's still kind of, even though I've been supporting it, it still kind of has those challenges when it comes to like the the view of it. I just say that, the view. So but sometimes we just have to realize that this particular situation is here. Or, I don't know why it happens like that, why it looks like this. You go and you experience it, and you're like, oh, it's like Dread City is dread. It's like everyone has lots of dreads or natural, and that's like the environment. Fresh juice and peas and beans. It all looks like this. That could be a reason why we haven't specifically have never really put that on our Facebook page, just to kind of get to why that is. Sometimes it's security and it's not discrimination, or it's not exclusion. But on the flip side, sometimes it's the same way, and you find yourself, and it's you're all blonde, you're all white, pale skin, blonde hair, You know, sometimes it bees like that. So why is that? Um, so we're gonna close early. We're not gonna do our full 2 hour show today. So BT Oversight Edition is typically until when it's time to end. But you know, we used to like keep it within the same time and do some other segments with the culinary and you know to kind of contribute to uh, just general things like making meals, you know, fixing something to drink, using the microwave, popping some popcorn. Uh, but I'm not certain if I want to continue with that or not. So we have made some changes not only with location but structurally in business. Um, no other additional updates. We're going into May now. Um, so we've been doing this for a year, excluding some months. But, you know, it's been about a year. So I guess that update will be that um, the difference in location, the difference with the structure, those will be the updates. And that's it. Adding more, you know, showing more about who we are on our Facebook. You know, showing, you know, just sharing, you know, that which have been here. Um, so you know what? Maybe we'll run this out a little bit, but we're gonna go back to the beat. 106.5.
I love this station. 106.5 The Beat, Richmond's #1 for hip hop and R&B.
So we're back, and you know what? Let's just vibe. You know, we've been doing this a year. It's you know closing out April. Um, you know, even though it's the first, it's the last. Oh wait, I was thinking it's the last Friday of the month. So I guess we gotta work out that you know we use the last day of the month, the last weekday. You know, even if it goes into the next month. So we'll work out that. Um, I'm kind of going for the calendar day. You know that that week. Um, but for the following month. Whether it's, if it's a Friday, basically it becomes different. So if it's a Friday, it's a Friday. If it's the first of the month, then it's still that Friday. If not, it's the last day of the month. Um, uh, hmm. Yeah, the Friday, I guess, is what made it a little different, being the first. Because we're just going to finish the week off if it's like a Tuesday or Wednesday. So, this is gonna be the last oversight edition. I'm gonna, it's like, should I do it? Should I don't do it? Should I do it? Yes or no? But that's kind of what I think. The last day of the month, or if it happens to fall on a Friday, then it will be that first day of that following month for the previous month if it's a Friday. Just because it's the last day of the week. And not necessarily outsourcing it because it's still that. So I guess how do you I guess now the question will be, well, if that does happen, then what happens? How does it? How does the new association stay within the network? So whatever happens with that, we're hoping that it's done with care and etiquette, business etiquette. Um, and of course, the one thing that is relative right now. So there's a lot going on. There's the LGBT that's here. There's HARPO that's here. That's relative to these relationships and all of that. And there's these couples that's here. But it's kind of so it seems as though the challenges for these couples is LGBT. Because if that's a situation where that never breaks up, and there's always a situation where these are always national, international organizations with that theme, then what if that always negatively impacts the possibility of being brought together as couples with United? So I guess the question is if these couples coming together dependent on LGBT separating, disbanding, being terminated, having a business termination? And how do you do that when it's how is that possible? So I guess being identified as couples isn't that simple. I guess there's a lot to it, and it's, of course, it's not money, it's character, and unity that is involved with it. What else? So I don't think we're going to do the oversight edition just because we're going to pass that on. And regarding like doing the shows, starting it in May, and I mean, a year ago, and like what happens when it's televised. So will you start over? So because what about the dated stuff? What about it's like 2014, 2015. What if you don't, we started till whenever? So our former, whether it's current or not, was to, begin with the show's very first show that we started and go with the same topics and the same, and tailor it to what is going on in the present. And keep the same out of network for each show. And, the out of network is to the next show, except in extenuating circumstances. And that would mean that the Friday out of network would be through that next show. So I guess there had to be some care with who we out of network on Fridays because it would be more time within what it is that we have. So why is that a big thing? Why is that a big thing to have? Well, you'll have 24 hours to our next show, with regards to an out of network, and well, you have like 72 hours, on a Friday, why is that? So, and then, so is there a cost to be out of network, or do we just select and be like, those type of questions? But why is it a big deal? It's because, dealing in businesses just be getting put out there. I don't necessarily go, aren't necessarily presented and out there with United. Don't necessarily have that guidance with United, or what that means with regards to business structure and you know, management, leadership, employees, property, real estate, coordination. They don't necessarily have that, because of this whatever their focus is, just that business. So that's why it's kind of a big deal. 24 hours. You definitely don't want to put like where you have like you're in a shopping spree and you get to like try to get as much as you can, like because we don't motivate greed or anything of that nature. Um, and to peace. So basically you got to have teams that could be like really progressive during that 24 hours, with who it is or what it is with regards to peace. You have the Peace Corps and people are assigned like 3 months. You have 24 hours. Um, Friday, you have 72 hours, not 3 months. And, there may be some repeats. But of course, if we do repeat an out of network spotlight, it's not going to be the same. Maybe the same company, but it's not going to be the same focus. And it will not be on a Friday. Um, And then, of course, I'm vibing all of this from what we have with regards to Late Late Show with BT. But of course, that's there's a co-host situation here, collaborative correspondent. It brings it back to Harper versus Stedman. Making decisions with regards to your heart and that trueness with regards to love, and separating that love, professional versus being together and it not being professional, or business related. Making decisions from like who you are, and not about gain or privilege or convenience. So no really updates in that department. Just that we've been doing the BT Raw and being mindful with regards to the coma situation and how that relates to who we are. And being clear about this LGBT and that, with Beyonce as being the B in the LGBT, and that going back to the 90s, that would mean that the co-host that's not Beyonce, we would have history longer than before the 90s. So just coming within all of that, all of that reality. What is in reality? Because unfortunately, it's not a movie where there's a script, and that's not associated with anything. It isn't what it is. Or if it was, I would not be doing a late late show at BT live. And so before we complete and close our BT Oversite edition, let's just go back to the beat. Where else but Richmond? I guess another thing is that I would like to think that we are fully staffed, even though we're still it's still like this. That's all I like to think. But it's still about bringing everyone together, and then there's a challenge with regards to belief. That this is you, this is what you have, this is what's here. So but we have so that's kind of that. So I like to think that we're fully staffed, and that I want to be firm with regards to that staffing, that these are the ones that were chosen to be a part of this, with regards to hiring employees. And I don't really want to go outside of that, because just being having the responsibilities that I have, I think it's very important to be firm there, because there could be certain situations or certain qualities and attributes that were just put with these people. Um, but but then you have like the couples that so it's like that, and then others that we find that there has to be some type of specific connection. As long as there's specific connection, then I could make that stand with regards to there being whatever is there that's relevant and sensible. Like Taylor Swift. There has to be a specific connection to who we are and what we have. When it's not, specifically this person and that person that was kind of put here. And I'm finding that is where it's going to be more diverse. Because unfortunately, the ones that was kind of put here kind of, visually, there are some similarities. Kind of like we were touching on when we were writing about Robert Johnson and BET, how it appears to, be a certain way visually. But I'm finding that my diversity is coming from the other situations that have been, that they've kept connected. Like Oprah and Stephen and, Taylor Swift and Lord. That is where, the diversity is from the other connections. And of course, with the co-hosts, and that'll bring additional diversity or additional staffing. I have no idea what that looks like. I just have my part in it. So I guess we can kind of be fine with that. That whoever was chosen directly in hers, to work with us together. Whoever's chosen to work with us directly in mine, and that's who we are going to take a stand as to working directly with. And then we have the additional contributors that have been put here to remain connected. And that's going to be the best way to go about this, I feel. So, we're kind of fully staffed conceptually. It's just about getting the space and, having a location where you are available for that, and where people, having the staffing to bring in who you already have, as opposed to seeking you. But we are definitely going to find other ways to stay connected and, form different situations. But like with business, it's kind of these other businesses that we're putting like staples. Like, okay, well, who else is here? Forever 21, who else is here? So like, if it's relevant to who we are, that becomes, other different ways. And so we're definitely like acknowledging certain situations when it comes to business, and the certain responsibilities when it comes to business, and what that means with regards to discrimination and or favoritism in terms of hiring. So this is when the Late Late Show BT. Our next show is when we'll continue with the LGBT issue. So that's it for now. This has been the Late Late Show BT. Bye.